So please tell everybody about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so my name's Sorcha Wilcox. I'm based in Melbourne, and I play in a couple of bands, kind of technically three bands now. But main band is Aardvark, which is like a traditional heavy metal band. And I also I play guitar in Aardvark, and I play in another band called Dowser, which is very kind of like doom, drony, noisy kind of stuff. And I sing in that and play guitar in that. And then I've just joined another band, but I won't mention it yet because they haven't announced it yet. But that's gonna be
Mm.
like super fun playing bass in that band. Um, yeah, so I play music and I also do a lot of photographic work and I work as a lecturer of photography at Deakin University here in Melbourne. And I've been lecturing there for like 9 years.
Mm.
Did my PhD there and stuff. Um, so yeah, like music and photography are like my two things.
That's so cool. I also taught at my alma mater.
Really? What did you
Yeah,
teach?
I taught art.
So cool.
Yeah,
Did you
it was
enjoy it?
yeah, I loved it. But the lockdowns happened and there were a lot of changes, and I ultimately decided to open my own educational programming business, and I made more money doing that than teaching, so I switched over to the business full time.
That's
But
sick.
um, yeah, but teaching at an institution is really nice because a lot more, I mean, all of the things that you have to organize when it's your own business are handled at the institution, like client marketing and retention and stuff like that. So you don't have to hunt all the leads. Anyway, when did you first realize you loved rock and metal music and you wanted to create more of it?
Um, Probably since I was a kid. So like my parents would always be listening to records, like particularly on like a Saturday afternoon, my dad would put on like Bob Dylan or like Van Morrison or something, or like Rolling Stones, and that house would just be filled with music and all the windows would be open, you'd be in the garden and you just hear music all afternoon. Um, and then like when I was kind of allowed to use the record player, I started like going through particularly his Rolling Stones records. And I'd get home and like put on like Out of Our Heads and just like lie on the floor and be like, this is the best. Um, so I started playing music when I was 6. I started playing piano. And then I played flute when I was like 12 to like 14. And then I started really kind of getting into guitar when I was like 14 because I was always like my dad's guitar around the house, and you'd learn some like Neil Young or Pink Floyd or something. But then it wasn't until I was like really 14 that I was like, I want like my own guitar and I want to like learn this stuff. Um, because I was watching this like documentary series with my parents about Irish music because my parents are from Dublin. And there was a segment on Thin Lizzy, and I was like, oh my God, who is this fucking band? And I just became obsessed with Thin Lizzy and then something like Aardvark, and I'm like, yes. Um, so I wanted like a Les Paul because that's what like Brian Robertson and Scott Gorham were playing. Although, I had to get a copy because parents not gonna fork out for a real Gibson. Um, so yeah, really when I was like a teenager, really started getting into like, yeah, heavier rock and stuff. Yeah.
Very cool. I was just in Ireland earlier this month. I was visiting my
Really?
uncle.
Where did you go?
I landed in Dublin and then I went out pretty close to the Hill of Tara, is where my uncle lives.
He lives in the Hill of Tara?
He lives really near to it, yeah. And
Oh, wow. That's a very significant place.
oh yeah, it was great. I spent like the whole day there because he had to work. Ultimately, he like played hooky and called out of work for the rest of the time that I was there. But that day, I went to the Hillatar by myself. I expected the buses to take card, and they didn't. So I just like batted my eyelashes and got on for free and made it to the Hillatara. And then I spent the whole day there. I brought my tarot deck and my journal, and it was a really good time. I had a great time in Ireland.
Wow. Did you go to
Yeah.
any stone circles?
Yeah, I went to can't think of its name now, but it's
I
like
never really.
one of these like famous ones that you go into and like the light would come through.
Glendalough? Oh, sorry, not Glendalough. Burnaboyne?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
It was cool. I went with my uncle. We had such a
like
good
New
time.
Range, basically.
Yeah, yeah, we were all over
Yeah,
Newgrange. It was really nice. I thought Ireland was so beautiful. One of the really unexpected things I saw there was we went to one of the workhouses from the famine. And there was like a graveyard there for the people who had died working. And I was like, this is a death camp. And
yeah,
somebody
it
had,
was genocide too.
yeah, it
Well,
was
it's a
like,
famine. It's a fucking genocide. Yeah, yeah.
and the house that was like on this property was purchased by someone who was restoring it to live in it. And I thought that that was pretty bold.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean
That's a
that
bit on the nose.
I'm glad that it's not crumbling away, at least.
Wow.
But if your music were a movie soundtrack, what would the movie be about? Let's do Aardvark. Maybe both.
Yeah, so Aardvark, yeah, I was thinking about this. I think it'd probably, so there's like Aardvark songs that are kind of like, because Edward has written all these songs and like they're all like from like a, masculine perspective. And there's songs that are kind of adventurous and mythical, like Ang and Destructor. And then there's other songs like Top Love and Don't Call Me a Liar that are like probably a bit more like rooted in like a young guy kind of like looking for love and like trying to find his place in the world and that kind of thing. So I think songs like Tough Love or something in that vein could be like a soundtrack for some kind of coming of age movie set in like the early 80s of some, young guy trying to like find his way. I reckon that would be a vibe. For Dowser, I reckon um maybe something a little bit more like sci-fi kind of uh I don't know, maybe like some group of explorers go to some random planet and then they get chased by like some huge alien creature or something.
Love it. Okay, so who would the antagonist or villain be for Dowser?
Um, so I've been watching a lot of Red Dwarf lately, and so I think maybe some kind of like chameleon, like
Ooh.
that could like change shape and stuff.
Oh, I love that. A space chameleon. Very sci-fi.
Yeah,
Sci-fi fantasy.
yeah,
Um, and who would the hero be?
me.
Love it. Love it. That's great. That's how we do this. That's very Rock Thomas of you. You got to be your own star. So, let's see. Okay, if you could have any three pieces of band memorabilia of all time, what would you like to have?
Three pieces. Oh my God. Okay. Well, the first one would totally have to be Phil Lynotte's necklace. You
Hmm.
know that necklace that he wears that has like the metal, like, I guess, base pick on it?
Hmm.
Yeah, I want that necklace. Another one would be, do you know the music video for PJ Harvey, This Is Love, where she's just like in the studio in that sick, like white outfit with the like tassels, and she's just got this Telecaster. She
Hmm.
has this awesome guitar strap, which is like, it's like clear plastic, but then it's got all these metal studs on it. I want that strap.
Ooh. Okay, I don't know what that strap looks like, but it sounds nice. What's
Yeah,
the
if you look up the video for PJ Harvey, This Is Love, it's just her being a fucking badass, like looking amazing. Um, And yeah, I have a massive girl crush on her. But yeah, definitely that guitar strap I want.
And
Um,
yeah, what's the third? Oh, I see the screwed
third
up.
one. Sorry.
All right, we're gonna fill the people in who are watching this with us. What this strap looks like, everybody.
Yeah. Yes, that strap. I want that strap. How awesome does she look?
I'm so glad that was easy because there's no way I was gonna edit that into this video. All right, what's the third?
All right, this third one is totally different. Okay, you know The Last Waltz? You know that film? It's like um basically it's a film of like Bob Dylan's like backing band called The Band, and it's like their last gig or whatever at the time. And it's like a concert and it's called The Last Waltz. Anyway, Joni Mitchell comes out
Hmm.
and plays Coyote. And she like absolutely knocks it for six, like just smashes it. And like she's totally amazing and stunning and everything. Her outfit. So it's like, because I feel like that whole gig is like this big boys club. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
They're like, yeah, we're good. And then she comes out and she's like here. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I want that outfit that she's wearing
Mm.
because it's just like, super like feminine and like flowing and but she just absolutely nails it. So yeah, that outfit.
What's the name of that film again?
Called The Last Waltz.
The Last Box?
Waltz, Waltz.
Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. I'm gonna look for it because that scene sounds amazing. And I
She's
love
incredible.
Mitchell. Joni Mitchell is
Yeah,
such such a girl's girl. Like she
yeah.
painted her own album covers and her songs were like I don't know, proto Taylor Swift for people who don't know Joni Mitchell's discography. It's like an autobiography. It's an autobiography. And then she painted all the covers. And then just like so true to herself in her journey. She had a bumpy start. She had a baby when she was really young with a guy that did not care, and then she put the baby up for adoption and regretted that. So, bumpy start.
I think they rekindled like life though, didn't they?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I thought they did. Oh God, maybe I'm making that up.
No, I wonder if does Joni Mitchell have an autobiography? Do you know? I mean, aside from her music.
Um, if there was one, I would totally love to read it, but I don't think there is.
Me too. If I find one, I will send you a link.
Oh, cool,
So,
thanks.
what's a comfortable balance for you between the rock star who has curious fans and the private individual who doesn't want to share everything?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm just playing in local bands in Melbourne, like, I mean, if I like go out and go to gigs, there'll be like some people that will come up, be like, oh my God, Aardvark, I love that band. Um, and then like the other day, someone was like, when are Dowser playing again? I'm like, oh, we've been quiet for a while because we've been busy with Aardvark. Um, but like, you know, we're just a local band in Melbourne at this stage, so like, there is no kind of crossing over into like personal space so much really.
Okay.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I totally get not wanting to give everything away and having that kind of like there's like the Aardvark soccer and then there's like private soccer and yeah, they will probably remain separate things.
Um, is there anything that you love to talk to fans of your music about and anything that you wish people would stop asking you?
Um, um, the I've found a different reception in different music scenes. So I used to play in another band called La Bronco, which was a two-piece, which is me and my friend Laura, and we would just like dress up in like sparkly outfits, like mini little tiny dresses and like big boots, and just like play this really loud, sludgy stuff with like these kind of real kind of sorry vocals. At every gig, these guys would come up to us and be like, wow, I didn't expect you chicks to sound like that. And I was like, what the fuck did you expect us to sound like? What does that even mean? Like, are you saying we're not allowed to sound like that? Like, you know, and guys would make a lot of like sexist comments and stuff um in that scene. And that scene, I guess, was more in kind of like a kind of rocky kind of scene. In Dowser, like, again, a lot of guys like, oh, I've never seen a girl play a Les Paul like that before and stuff. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of those kind of shit comments. But in Aardvark, in the metal scene, there is none of that. Like, there are no guys making dick comments like that. Okay, like one guy was like, oh, how long have you been playing guitar for? It's like, I'm sure you did not ask anyone else in the band that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a totally different scene. So, like, in terms of what I wish people would stop asking, it would have been like, how long have you been playing guitar for? Because I'm like, dude, what does it even matter?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's annoying because it's like, I know you're not asking the other guys that. Um,
I
but
wonder,
like,
yeah, are they let's like pray that they are asking that because they're trying to figure out how to start a conversation with you about guitar. Because I can't think of like what I mean, that doesn't even mean anything.
thing is, like, if that were the start of the conversation, then we would probably have the conversation about guitar and maybe
Hmm.
get into talk about gear and blah blah blah. But that doesn't happen. It's always just like, yeah, it's just like this weird kind of dig, and I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like, I know it's a bit weird.
Yeah. And I mean, there are people, I don't know, that doesn't really mean a lot anyway. It's kind of like when somebody asks me, how long did it take you to paint that? And it's like, well, what do you mean? Like, how long was I sitting in front of the canvas? Like, how many hours? Or do you mean like what days of the week did I actually go and do it? So it's the same thing if you're practicing anything. It's like, it's not really like what age you started. It's like how frequently you did it leading up to where you are. It's like just like a really nonsense question anyway.
Yeah,
Because you could have
but
started younger or older and that wouldn't change the way you play.
I know it's so weird. But it's just like, I know you're asking me that because I'm a girl. Like, you are not asking the guys that
Mm.
because I've mentioned this to the guys, and they're like, no one's ever asked me anything like that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, people, don't ask this question. Instead, they should talk to you about your favorite thing to talk to them about, which is
Probably gear, for like music gear.
okay, well, let's just jump to that. What is your favorite gear and your favorite stage wear?
Um, well, in Aardvark, I'm playing a Jackson, a 1990 Jackson RRJ, which is this bad boy, which
Beautiful.
I'm like
Is it
very
gray
obsessed
or
with.
green?
It's okay, it's like it's black, but it's actually kind of like a really metallic green.
Oh yeah, so pretty.
Yeah, I'm like very obsessed with it.
Love the shade.
Um, so because in Dowser I play a Les Paul, I play like a 94 Les Paul standard, and it is set up in like C standard, and it's got like 12 to 56s as the strings on it. So it's like super heavy gauge, and it's like it weighs like 5 kilos. And like, I love that guitar. Like, I bought it like in a bar in Japan
Cool.
randomly
Great
and brought it
story.
back to Australia.
Yeah.
Um, but then like when I started playing Aardvark, I'm like, okay, I need a metal guitar for Aardvark. So I was very excited about get another guitar.
Hmm.
And then I bought this online again from Japan because they've got so many like sick like metal guitar shops and stuff that I've been into. Um, and so I was very excited to get this. And I feel like I've put so much work into learning aardvark stuff and playing this kind of music on this guitar. So like when I kind of grab this guitar, I'm like, all right, we are in that zone. We're doing these techniques and like we're trying to fret really softly and like relax and think about all like those hours of practice. So yeah, I'm very obsessed with this guitar.
I love
Like
the
the
inlay.
pickups, yes, the shock man. Like
Yeah. There's
the pickups are like super hot. Yeah, I really love it.
yeah, I
So
like the
that's probably
oh go ahead.
huh?
I'm just gonna keep on talking about how I like your guitar, but tell me more.
Oh, well, that's probably my favorite um, like piece of gear stuff. But outfit stuff, it's definitely these boots.
Very 60s. Love it.
Yeah, so I need like huge boots because on the stage I'm standing next to Edward and he's like 6'4". He's like so tall and huge, and I'm only like 5'7" or something, and I'm like little, so I need these huge boots to like stand up with them. So yeah, they're definitely my favorite stage wear thing.
It's making me think. I saw a clip of Stevie Nicks talking about how the inspiration for all of her capes was because she needed to like make herself into a larger person on the stage. With like, since there were like, I would say that Fleetwood Mac was kind of a larger band. They had more members than like a lot of bands do. And so it was like she really got lost in like the crowd of musicians. So yeah, she started wearing these capes. I wonder if Dolly Parton's wigs were to make herself bigger. Hmm. Things that make
I
us.
feel like it's part of the like, because you're a performer, so you're like performing a role.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like getting into that zone and stuff for the performance. Um, I kind of think of it like that, and like the outfits kind of go along with that, like, the leathers and like, I've got these like little like biker vests that I'll wear and stuff. So I don't even ride a motorbike. Well, I do really want to change that. I do really like motorbikes. Um, but like, yeah, it's all part of getting into that zone, I think. And that's what I mean by like that guitar helps me get in that zone because it's
Hmm.
like it's my metal guitar and it's like specifically for that project. And then like the boots and outfits and stuff, it like gets you into like that zone.
Yeah, it's like ceremonial robes. It's like a part of your ritual. You should talk to Amy from Solicitor about this topic. Check out her episode. She talks about because she is, if you've never seen what she looks like, she's tall like a Valkyrie, and she has a lot of like pieces of metal that hang off of her all day, every day. It's her daily look, but it's like a lot of rings in her ears and a lot of cuffs and stuff. And she definitely has a sound when she walks. It's a jingling, kind of banging sound, which is really great. It sort of announces her like a trumpet. And anyway, she was talking all about how metal is the embodiment of a sort of like a superhero character or like sci-fi fictional kind of character, and putting on her stage garb was a part of like this transformation aspect.
Yeah, that totally can totally get into that. I did see a little bit of that episode because I was like looking through and I'm like, who are these people? And like, what is the vibe of this channel and stuff? And I did see her and yeah, like she has a sick look going on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but yeah, totally agree with that. Like it's part of getting into the character. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it also what you said made me think of like just when I don't know, there's all these rituals in our lives, like when you're gonna like work on a piece of writing, you're gonna make a pot of tea, oh, and light a candle or something like that. There is a candle here. It's dying. But anyway, yeah. So let's go backwards now and looking back on everything that you've been up to, what was a big decision you made that turned out to be a great choice?
Um, probably starting playing in Dowser. So I play in Dowser with my partner Danny, who is also the bass player in Aardvark. and yeah, bass playing Dowser as well. And we've been together for like 16 years. So he's like my closest person ever.
Hmm.
Um, and the other person in Dowser, the drummer, is this guy Adam, who I actually went to high school with, and he's like my oldest friend. And um, so we started Dowser like years ago, like a real long time ago, like 10 years ago. And that was like during my 20s, and like I was like really anxious and stuff, and kind of like too afraid to play music with other people. And so like the only two people that I could kind of start playing music with were Danny and Adam.
Mm.
Um and I think like starting that and being like, yeah, I can do this, and like I can write this music and I can perform it with my guys, like the closest guys and like people that I love. And I think that kind of got the ball rolling for like doing more music and doing like La Bronco and other random one-off projects with other people, and then eventually getting to Aardvark. So I think definitely like taking that first step to do Dowser was probably the best thing I did.
Hmm. Um, I relate to this too because when I started this channel, the first episode is me talking to one of my best friends who is a musician, and I was like, I'm gonna mess this up like three different times. We're gonna have to keep retaking this episode. I already know that about myself. So I need my first guest to be somebody who will just let me screw up over and over without getting mad at me. But it was the catalyst. So that's actually really good. Start with where you're comfy. Start with where you are.
Yeah, I think like you need that support to like,
Mhm.
yeah, like you said, feel comfy and kind of like feel that you can express yourself in this way. And yeah, yeah.
Um, so when you hit the inevitable flaming hoop in the circus, like an album is delayed, or the drummer breaks their foot, or the wheel falls off the van, what kind of things help you keep a positive mindset? Like any mantras, or do you have role models?
Um, I I think like I totally have like a hot temper, and so like if something doesn't go right, I'm just like fuck, and I get like really worked up. I definitely have a little hot Irish temper. Um, so I really need like other people to kind of be like, no, it's fine. We're just going to take it one step at a time, or it is what it is. And we're just going to deal with it. And really, the person that I talk to is Danny, my partner. Because he is like way more level-headed than I am. I feel like I'm like these like up and down extremes, and he's just kind of like coasting, like chill. So yeah, I need like, well,
Phone a
yeah, I
friend.
totally need reassurance, but I also kind of need like someone who is not kind of going off the charts. I need someone who is like chill to kind of like bounce bounce with.
Hmm,
Yeah,
yeah. Call your bestie is definitely like a go-to button for me when things feel like they're getting out of control. And then that always helps me like get perspective again. It sounds like
yeah,
Danny's your bestie, so call
yeah.
your bestie. Okay, well that's really good. And what's a performance memory that you will never forget?
Sorry, I got a dog here.
Hello, dog. Oh my
Dash.
gosh, so cute. Oh, he's looking.
He
Yeah.
um he hears noises outside on the street. Um, yeah, best performance memory is probably when Dowser, when we, sorry, not Dowser, Aardvark, when we had our album launch. It was so fun because like all our friends came, and it was so fun to be like on the stage and like playing these songs and seeing all your friends like jumping around and like enjoying it. And we played a newer song that's going to be off the second album, I think, is like the encore or something. And I remember at that moment seeing um my friend Sarah and her friend, and they were kind of just like grabbing onto each other and just sort of jumping up and down and like looked like they were just having the best time. I'm like, oh my God, are we like doing that?
Aw,
And just, I don't know, kind of locking in and like seeing them having a great time and knowing that we were making this music that was making them feel that, that will like always be in my head.
I love that. That is
Yeah, it was
so
pretty good.
awesome. Oh, that's really good. That's also very encouraging because it's like very real. It's not like, like this like stardust worship. It was like seeing the people that you care about enjoy themselves. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so after a long day of recording, touring, or working out the kinks, how do you most like to practice self-care?
Um, so I need a lot of downtime. I have like a chronic health condition, and so like, yeah, I need like a lot of downtime. So, for example, I remember when we were recording the Aardvark album, and it was like three back-to-back days in the studio where we would like start at 9 and not finish till like 10 at night. And it's obviously like pretty high pressure because your tracks are gonna be soloed and you gotta play them right. Um, so like I remember during that period just feeling so exhausted because I couldn't do the things that I needed to do for self-care, which is like downtime. And another big one for me is cooking. Like I'm quite
Mm.
obsessed with cooking. Um, and like home cooked meals, I don't really like takeaway food. Like I need like a home cooked meal. Um, and so because we would be getting home so late and then we'd have to basically go straight to bed and stuff, there was no time to do these things. And so by, the end of those sessions in the studio, I was feeling pretty shit. And it kind of cemented, like, yeah, that I really do need these little things to kind of look after myself. Yes, cooking and downtime.
What is one of your favorite recipes to make?
Um, so I'm actually like part Indian, like my great grandmother is Indian or was Indian. Um, And so, like, curries are like my favorite things to cook. And it's kind of like I just sort of enjoy all the stages of the process. It's like you get the ghee going, and then, like, you get your whole spices happening. And
Mm.
every time a new one hits the hot oil, you just get this amazing aroma.
Mm.
And then you get like your like onion, garlic, ginger, chili. As soon as that adds in, and then like new complex flavors, and then whatever meat or vegetables you're using, whatever. But it's like every stage of the process is just beautiful because it's like the smell is just so enticing. Um, so my favorite one to cook is probably just like a lamb sarg, probably,
Mm.
or like do it with goat. I really like goat meat, like on the bone. I really like meat on the
Yeah.
bone. I'm very
Yeah.
obsessed with meat on the bone. I need to be like a caveman, like eating meat on the bone next to a fire.
Oh, that sounds
Um,
so good. Oh my gosh. Are
yeah.
you gonna do any kind of like outdoor cookout kind of stuff for Halloween? Actually, what's Halloween like in Australia? Do you do bonfires much?
Well, in Australia, people think that Halloween is very American, but growing up in an Irish household, obviously Samhain, like it's
Mm-hmm.
Irish. So, my mum would, I like doing what my mum would do every year, where it wasn't so much about like chocolate or like sweets, it was more about like fruit and nuts.
Mm.
So every year, Halloween, my mum would like get all these amazing fruits because it's like, end of October. So in Australia, that's like kind of heading towards summer. So the stone fruits are starting to become available. So like nectarines and peaches and stuff. And the stone fruits are my favorites. So yeah, mum would like load up the fruit bowl and also always get coconut and like peanuts, but like in the shell. And she
Mhm.
used to call them monkey nuts. I don't know. She'd always be like, "I got you some monkey nuts," because she's still got her accent. And so yeah, it was always like fruit and nuts, and like that was the Halloween kind
Hmm.
of Irish thing that we would do at home. And then like when we were kids, we were making costumes. It's like your mom makes them, and they have to be like scary, but not like blood and gore scary, but like some kind of whimsical demon scary. So that's kind of my association with Halloween. But then, yeah, it is very kind of Americanized in Australia, where if people go to like a Halloween party, they might dress up as like a sexy nurse or something. I'm like, dude, that is not it. Um, yeah, I'm not trying to like gatekeep a holiday, but it's
Yeah.
just like, I guess when you are Irish and you come from that background, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It's
but
definitely a very different holiday in those two places. And it reminded me that I ordered a crimper for my hair because I did plan a costume. I just forgot all about it.
oh, what is your costume gonna be?
The ghoulish fairy.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be like pretty and weird. It doesn't mean
Yeah,
anything.
like last time I went to a Halloween party and I had a costume, I was wearing like a possum skull, like around my neck. Like, yeah, it's supposed to be like, in my mind anyway. Again, I don't want to like gatekeep people's enjoyment of like this, holiday. But yeah, for me, it's more like ghouls and that kind of underworld kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I also want to go back to the Indian food. My uh adoptive father is from Brisbane and he loves all kinds of Asian food and Indian food. And so he's always trying to make it at home, but he does not have an Indian great grandmother. So he built this this like he tried to build a special kind of oven that to cook outside, and he tried to build it up in an oil drum. And he is an engineer, and he does invent amazing things all the time. But it totally didn't work. And my mom just like could not break it to him that like there was no way he was going to build this like special Indian oven out of an oil drum.
Is he trying to build like a tandoor?
Yeah,
Oh my God, that's hectic. Wouldn't you need like clay?
he used bricks and
Oh, well, I guess bricks are kind of made from clay, so like it works.
it didn't.
Didn't, oh no. Oh my God, that's terrible. Oh
And
no.
then, but he wouldn't give up and he just kept trying and we just supported that.
Wow.
I think he has given up now, but I am definitely in the mood for some Josh Rogan now. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
totally. Yeah, I just well, like this like Indian connection in our family like has kind of never really been spoken about, but like my mom would always kind of say that her mother looked sort of Indian, and I was like, what? And then
you.
I like look at photos of like my mom and all her brothers, and they're all like, I am like the palest person in my family. They all have like, well, in Ireland we would describe it as like sallow skin, but I think in other countries that's not really a nice term. But like they would have, darker skin and like, dark, thick, black curly hair. And, some of my cousins in particular really have those like physical characteristics. And I'm like, dude, how am I related to you? I'm like blonde with blue eyes and I'm like the palest person ever.
Mm.
Um, and so my mom would always be like, your granny had an Indian look about her. And then I was like, what is this like Indian comment? And my mom was like, she was part Indian. I'm like, what? How come you've never
Mm.
told me this before? And so it was kind of this thing that sort of learn about later in life. I'm like, is that why I'm obsessed with Indian food? Like, maybe.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I was at the Hill of Tara, I got an invite in my email to a Zoom meeting with my like magical art girls group. And they had a special guest speaker who talked about ancestral foods and their healing capacities. And she had this connection to, it was kind of loose. It was a little bit of fringe science, but she was talking about um, we evolve in certain environments, our bodies adjust to certain kinds of nourishment, and then like, people move all around the world, people immigrate to all these new places, and they lose touch with the foods that grew around them naturally as their bodies grew. And so when you eat something, the like all of those chemicals that exist in your stomach and affect your mood are changing. And so like if you eat, like you can say like if you eat a bunch of sugar, you're going to have a sugar rush and then you're going to crash, right? Or if you eat like a healthy meal or like a nice yummy porridge with dates, then you will have like sustained energy. So food totally affects our mood. And so the idea that your DNA has a relationship to Indian food doesn't seem that strange.
Yeah, I guess when you put it that way, it totally makes sense. Yeah. I
Sorry
do
about
love
it.
like, classic Irish food as well, but I do hate boiled cabbage. Like, I don't want any more boiled cabbage in my life. Like, I've had enough. But like, like just making like stews, and I feel like curries are like the Indian stews, like there's something about meat that's been slow cooked for hours in delicious flavory sauces. Like, yeah, that's just kind of
Yeah.
it.
Well, I mean, this all makes sense for your self-care and like needing to be with this mood enhancing nourishment. So, do you have any new announcements for us?
New announcements. Oh my God. So I don't know when this video will come out, but Friday night, November the 1st, Aardvark, we are playing a fundraiser show for our European tour um, here in Melbourne, and we're playing with three bands who I love. We're playing with Reaper, Barbarian, and Fly, and it's at the Gasso. So that's gonna be a big night. And yes, it's to raise funds for going to Europe. So we are in the process of booking a tour, um, starting mid-March to mid-April. And we're gonna start, um, yeah, our first show. I'm pretty sure it has been announced. Is that Heavy Metal Thunder, in Czech Republic. So we're very excited about that. And then I don't know if the last one has been announced yet, so maybe I won't mention that. But yeah, so Aardvark coming to Europe is going to be super fun. My Irish family have already been like, "Are you going to come and visit us?" And I'm like, "I can't." And then they were like, "Well, tell us your dates, and maybe we'll come and visit you." So my godparents might come, which is pretty wild.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so Aardvark coming to Europe is probably the biggest thing that we're working towards at the moment.
that's super exciting. And
Yeah.
where can everybody listen to your music and how can they follow what you do?
So Aardvark is available on Bandcamp. There's a few different Aardvarks listed on there, so you just want to look for the one based in Melbourne. And we've got our stuff on Spotify if you use that. Otherwise you can follow us on Instagram. I think it's just at Aardvark Band. If you see a photo with a bunch of people wearing leather, that is it. Um, yeah, that's where we are online.
Okay. So, if you made it to the end of any episode, you'll know that we play the vinyl game, and I will hold up.
Final game.
Yeah, very creative title. I'll hold up two. You decide which one you want to talk about or ask a question about. Coven or Bonnie Tyler?
Oh my God. I'm gonna go Coven. Like, yeah, girl power. Hell yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God, they've signed?
Yes, it is.
So cool.
Yeah, I got this from one of her shows, and actually, I have a jacket where I painted her face on the back, and she signed my jacket too. She like
Oh, that's so
some
cool.
sometimes she talks to me. I wish she would talk to me more. I feel like a little sister, like begging for my older sister to pay attention to me. Anyway, what do you love about Kevin?
Vibe. Like, yeah, super fun. Oh yes, totally amazing.
The
Yeah,
original,
love that vibe.
the original Oz Osbourne, the original Satanic metal, the original. Doom, the original,
Yeah,
Black
I really like
Sabbath.
Doom stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, uh, all of it. Did June? Jinx did it first. She actually just did a new interview in the Chicago Tribune where she goes over the history of the band and that album being retracted again. And I think it's
really.
actually her um clearest storytelling. Like the facts never change when she talks about what happened with this, but this was like she said it really well in that one. So anybody who would like to know what I'm talking about, Chicago Tribune, Jane Sullivan.
I'm totally gonna look that up. Yeah.
Oh, I'll send you a link. Grace Lick or Susie Quattro?
I'm gonna have to go Susie Quattro. So like when Aardvark was starting, right? So obviously Dylan, our drummer, and Edward, our like singer and guitarist who like writes the stuff. They're very about like what the look is gonna be, right? They are into looks and outfits and all that kind of thing. And I mean, like, so am I, but like I'm actually really interested in like how women have kind of made their own style in the kind of metal space.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was saying to them, because they were talking about, various musicians and, oh, yeah, like what he wears on this album cover or in this live show and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what do the chicks wear? And they were like, dude, just look at like Susie Quattro or like Dora or someone. And like, yeah, I think Susie Quattro is a little badass.
Totally. And
Yeah, that's so
also
cool.
she was the inspiration for Joan Jett. She was on the cover of Rolling Stone in '75 when the Runaways founded.
Sick.
Yeah, so cool. Not like that many rock star women have been on the cover of Rolling Stones.
No,
Um,
they've had a bunch of pop stars that are like semi-nude, but yeah, they
yeah,
haven't really had many like rock chicks.
they don't even cover rock anymore. They're just like I don't even know. Anyway, Tina Turner or Cherry Vanilla.
Dude, Tina Turner. I love Tina Turner. Oh my God, yes,
What's your
totally.
favorite
When Tina
Tina
Turner
Turner
comes on
song?
the radio, if I'm like, if there's so like in Melbourne, we have like a couple of like community radio stations that I just love. But like occasionally, if they're playing like something that is on my vibe, I will like flip over to the commercial station. And when Tina Turner comes on, I'm like, yes, and I am like cranking that in the car.
Dude, I
Yeah,
love
I think
Tina
she's
Turner.
amazing.
What is your favorite Tina Turner track? You can say a couple.
Um, Probably like we don't need another hero, like Thunderdome. Like, yeah,
Thunderdome.
I
Yeah.
just love singing that chorus. Like, yeah,
Um, I would say Steel Claw is one of my favorites. Steamy Windows, Rock and Roll Widow. Uh, what you get is what you see, and typical male. Yeah. I loved that album, Break Every Rule, because it was like rock with a touch of country, and it's just so good. She's so good, Tina. All right. So, ooh,
she's just like full amazing. Like her performances and her like singing style and talent and everything, and like obviously her whole backstory is wow. But
yeah,
yeah, she's just the best.
it's totally inspirational. So,
Yeah,
Pat Benatar or Kate Bush?
Kate Bush. Yes, look at that cover. Oh my God,
So metal. They could have
so good.
They literally could have told you to look at so many different people. They could have been like, look at Stevie Nicks, look at Kate Bush, look at Pat Benatar. These
Yeah.
guys. Anyway, what do you love about Kate Bush?
Um, I think she's one of those artists that I think she's like some kind of genius, but people haven't realized that yet.
I
I think
know.
maybe some people have, but I think like her way with melody, I'm like, how do you come up with this?
Mm,
How do you like put a melody together like that? Like you are just breaking all the rules and
it
just
was.
doing your own thing. Yeah. So yeah.
Did you know? fun facts that she early in her music career, she won an artist grant and she spent it on mime school, and that informed all of her interesting dances and everything.
Really? I
Yeah,
did
doesn't it
not know that.
doesn't that make you want to go like take a class in something really outside of like rock and everything and just see like what it does and like innovate with it? Inspiring. All
Yeah,
right.
totally. If I could get some kind of like Latin rhythm Latin rhythm classes and be like, what is a clave? And like, yeah, learn Latin rhythms. I think that would be like totally amazing.
I once took an African dance class, and
Wow.
one of the moves was like you threw your arms and your hair forward, flipped your whole thing forward, and it was like, and you squatted down when you did it, and then we stood up, you like burst again. You can imagine it, kind of,
Wow.
right? Without me doing it, because I'm not going to
Wow.
do it. That dance move is so metal. So it'd be kind of cool to like take more African dance classes. Okay, so Stevie Nicks or Lucifer?
Ooh. I'm probably gonna have to go Stevie Nicks just because I am really inspired by her performances. I do really like Lucifer though, but like, yeah, I am gonna go Stevie Nicks because,
Yeah.
yeah, I want like femme powerhouses.
Well, what gets more femme than lavender velvet leg warmers over lavender platforms in a lavender gown with a
Yeah.
big parrot? Okay, you guys have these cockatoos wild in Australia. For that, I
Oh
have.
yeah, at my work they are everywhere. They are so loud.
I'm
So
so
like they come
jealous.
out at like dusk and like because I work on a university campus, like the whole campus is just covered in cockatoos. They're like hanging off buildings and on like every tree, and they are so loud, just like squawking and going nuts. It's like, yeah, Australian birds are pretty nuts. Like
I
they're loud.
love.
They're
I
crazy.
Australian birds are really cool. The cassowary, or is that one just in New Zealand actually?
No, no, Australian.
Oh, you have cassowary, good. And kiwis, all of those wonderful parrots.
So
I'm
Kiwis in New Zealand.
Oh, okay. I'm a bird person. Clearly, I need to study up. This also is signed by
Dude, see.
yeah, by whoever the guy is, and Johanna. I don't know what his name is. And I mean, it says it right there, but I'm not going to try to say that. So,
Dude.
uh, but I won Johanna's satanic poetry contest, and so she sent me this little single.
Really?
Yeah, I actually wrote that satanic poem about my pet parrot. I just pretended like he was Satan, and I wrote a love poem to him, and I won. So
Dude, that's amazing.
she
That is so cool.
I also live with two parrots, and I have lived with more than two parrots. So, like, your cockatoo story is just, I'm enchanted. All right.
What kind of parrots?
There.
I have to know about these parrots now.
Okay. So, one of them is a blue crown conure. His name's Pongo. And then I have a sun conure named Skittles, and they're both disabled. Neither can fly, but
Oh,
they're very cuddly. They're both rescues. And then I was babysitting this summer an African gray and a cockatiel. So there were four birds in my house. And then, but like the person who I was babysitting these birds for had a lot more birds than that, like way too many birds. I think he had seven birds. So I like looked into my crystal ball and I could see that seven birds was actually too many. So
yeah.
I even though it sounds like fun, it's just you can't keep up with seven birds. Anyway, so yeah, the cockatoo story didn't scare me at all. All right, and then these two bands are newer. So, but I think that you would like both of them. I think you would
I
like
like don't know these bands.
So Sweat has two chicks in it, and it is a little bit hard to describe, but it's like some sweet 70s soft rock, female vocals. It is not like Heart. It's melodic and it's very complex with a lot of musical changes. This is a musician's band, you know?
Right.
And then Bronze is a very well produced and talented. Really, there are three players to it, but I kind of see it as more of two because Mina, the singer, is like the mastermind, and then she has the very good producer whose name I am forgetting right now, also on this album. He did the Vipera album and he did Blazing Stone. Um, I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. That always happens when I do this show for some reason.
Names. I
Well, I mean,
think
I can remember all the girls' names. Anyway, so
I guess at this stage I'm probably just going off by like what the album cover looks like, so I'm gonna go with the Sweat one.
yeah, check it out. They're really good. I mean, both of these are great, and either one will be awesome. This one is like a little bit more like a band that would play with Aardvark. They actually are located in Sweden too, so maybe somebody
Oh
would.
my God, really? I'm gonna write it
Yeah,
down.
you'll also have this episode to refer to. Uh, and then Sweat is in Pittsburgh, but the singer is Swiss, so but lives in Pittsburgh.
Cool.
Yeah, so
All
okay.
right.
Well,
I'm totally gonna check them both out.
that is it for this episode. I hope that you get to enjoy some Indian food at home. Anyway, keep in touch. I will send you anything you need. Just remind me.
Thanks so much for asking me to do this. It's like super nice to like meet you and like have a chat and like I really love your channel and like
Thank you.
all these chats you're having with all these amazing girls. Yeah, it's like great vibe.
I might see you in Sweden. So,
Yeah, dude, that would be amazing.
okay, bye.
All right, bye.